I really just want you to take a look at the victim's vehicle because this vehicle really tells a story of what happened. Now you can see it is riddled in bullet holes. Well, we're still digging into his criminal history, but we know he's had run-ins with the law when he was a juvenile. Again, he's 19 years old. According to City of Memphis Mayor Jim Strickland, he faced several charges when he was 17 back in 2020, including criminal attempted first-degree murder. She told me she doesn't know what she's going to do because just look at this damage here. You can clearly see where this car plowed into her home. She says it appeared to be a white Camaro. Oh yes, the things you do for television. We are in a hot air balloon. Thankfully, I'm not afraid of heights, so it was not that hard to get me up here. But you know what? I know I am in very good hands. I don't know.
The 4 officers, they have since come back to this scene, but we watched as they drove from this scene with their lights on to a neighborhood that's probably less than a minute away on Airways, and that's when we captured them on camera, knocking on doors, speaking to residents. You know, the past few storms we've gotten, the snow was really it was more ice, but this is the type of snow that you want to play in. This is the type of snow that you want to go outside and build a snowman in, even if that snowman will probably just last a day or two. Police were able to reference that video and compare it to witness testimony and confirm that Summers was the man they were looking for.
Well, I can tell you now, the scene's kind of dwindled down in size. You know, when we were out here earlier and you saw the amount of officers behind me, we probably counted maybe 20 squad cars out here. But now that scene, we're looking at probably 10 vehicles, which is still a lot. This is still a very large police presence.
The sun's coming up so we can get a better look at the scene. So right now, officers have us set up over here at Park Avenue and Airways Boulevard, but just down the road at Airways in Brooklyn is where we're told that man has barricaded himself inside of an RV. Now,
hello, I'm Quametra Wilborn. Greg and Stephanie have the night off. We hope you had a good and safe Thanksgiving day. And if you plan on heading out to shop early in the morning, you might want to bundle up. Our Tim Simpson joins us now. And Tim, it's going to get pretty cold in the morning. And as we kick off the holiday shopping season, concerns of crime are on the mind of many Memphis shoppers. We spoke with Mayor Jim Strickland, who says the city is working on several new initiatives to create a safer city. Now, if you step outside this morning, you'll feel a little cooler than normal. Wendy Nation joins us now. Now, Wendy, we left off from a beautiful week where it was sunny, it was a little hot, but I heard you say earlier, starting today, moving forward, it's raining. And across the nation, the Biden administration's plans to get baby formula from Europe to the U.S. to help ease a nationwide shortage is underway. The first delivery will arrive later this morning. Wendy Gillette has the details from New York. And happening today, non-stop flights from Memphis to Cancun right in time for summer. From today and every Sunday until July 24th, you can fly from Memphis International Airport to Cancun International on a non-stop flight. The outgoing non-stop flights will only be available on Sunday mornings and incoming flights on Saturday mornings. And police in Arkansas arrest a man they say is responsible for the shot into the city's water tower, featuring singer Johnny Cash. The image does not portray Cash in the best light. Here's more from our sister station in Little Rock.
A boy, just 12 years old, was murdered on Christmas Day. It wasn't until after that, though, that the family of Artemus Rayford learned about a letter that he wrote to the governor of Tennessee about crime and murder.
Sadly, we can no longer hear from him, but tonight his family shared the letter with WREG's Quametra Wilborn.
I am a 6th grader at Sherwood Middle School, and it is my opinion that this new law will be bad and people will be murdered.
Those are the words written by a 12-year-old boy from Orange Mound to the governor of Tennessee. Artemus Rayford's prediction came true. He was murdered on Christmas morning. Does that sound like something he'd write?
Yes, Artemus, it was.
Memphis police say a stray bullet took his life. A bright kid with a bright future.
And I have a lot of grandkids, but Sean was really the pack of the party. He made the party.
Joyce Newsom says her grandson, who she called Sean, was inside his home on Haynes Street playing with his Christmas presents when bullets shattered the peace. Newsom says her grandson died in his mother's arms.
He got shot. The only thing he could do is run to his mama. It took her 2 days to wash the blood off her hands.
Artemis was laid to rest January 8th, but just days before his funeral, his family received this letter from his teacher, written by Artemis and addressed to Governor Bill Lee.
I read this letter over 2 and 3 times.
In the letter, Artemis tells Governor Lee he's in the Memphis Police Department's Gang Resistance Education and Training Program, a program dedicated to discouraging gang activity and violence among children. He says they were discussing the effects of the state's permitless handgun carry law.
He wrote this letter, not even knowing that he was going to get killed by the gun.
Under the law, which went into effect July 1st, 2021, someone 21 and up and military members over the age of 18 are allowed to carry a weapon concealed or open without safety training or permit. But despite the law also increasing punishments for gun-related crimes, it's received intense criticism from law enforcement agencies.
A person just walking down the street that's not a call that we can answer, because we can't even question that person about the weapon according to this new law.
We're training our officers not to profile individuals, but know the elements of the law.
But we're always concerned about unintended consequences.
However, Governor Lee stands firm.
We can protect law enforcement, we can protect our citizens, and we can protect the Second Amendment all at the same time.
A lot of people thinking that I got a gun in my house, I'm safe, but that's not the case. Because most of the time with them, who's the one getting hurt? It's the innocent one.
In 2021, the city of Memphis reached a record of 346 homicides. 31 of them were children. According to Le Bonheur Children's Hospital, 156 children were treated for gunshot wounds. And 2022 is already off to a rough start. Less than 3 weeks after Artemis's death, 2-year-old Charvez Atkins was shot and killed.
Yeah, I wish it was a dream, I wish it was where this never happened.
Newsom says she hopes her grandson's letter will inspire the change needed to finally bring an end to gun violence.
They think this gun is going to save them, but it's really not. It's got to be another solution besides using guns.
Reporting in Orange Mound, Quametra Wilborn, WREG News Channel 3. Well, so far, no arrests have been made in Artemis's death. If you know anything, call Crime Stoppers at 528-CASH.
It's a really beautiful pour here. I love seeing it.
When it comes to coffee, we probably all know someone who's a bit of a fanatic. That includes coffee lovers Maurice and Renata Henderson.
My general rule for brewing coffee is you want all the coffee with all the water for all the time.
The Hendersons turned their love of coffee into a 6-figure business called Coffee Black, located at the Anti-Gentrification Coffee Club in Highland Heights.
While you do get that beautiful kind of dark chocolate coffee flavor that we all love, there's also some really beautiful complex undertones.
However, Coffee Black is far more than a coffee brand. It's a movement.
We use Coffee Black as a way to reclaim the Black history of coffee and to reimagine this Black future.
Maurice says when he walks into a traditional coffee shop, he notices he stands out. So he started doing some research.
I started looking into more of the history though, and I was like, why do I see all these African countries on there too? And that led me to fall down the rabbit hole of like, okay, colonialism played a big role in the spread of coffee around the world.
Maurice says he learned coffee originated in Ethiopia, but today there is a lack of diversity in the industry socially and economically. He says he and his wife want to close that gap.
We imagine what can a world be once Black people reclaim the thing that was originally ours, and how can we use that in a way that inspires not just the Black community, but the world in the future.
But just knowing the origins of coffee was not enough for the Hendersons. They needed to see it for themselves. Over the last 3 years, they have made multiple trips to Ethiopia and other parts of Africa to meet the people behind the product. These encounters have even inspired how they run their business. Renata is the head roaster in honor of the first roasters and baristas, being Ethiopian women.
Coffee for Ethiopia is not this commodity. It's a part of a community. It's like a community glue.
The first trip was highlighted in their award-winning documentary, Coffee Black to Africa.
What's your name? You got it, Rose.
We want to see coffee being represented, not exclusively by people of African descent, but inclusively by people of African descent.
The Hendersons say their brand is provided through an all-black supply chain. Their coffee, Guji Mane, is grown by farmers in the town of Uraga in the Guji zone of Oromia in Ethiopia. A percentage of the proceeds for every bag goes back to the community it's harvested in.
We don't claim to be the experts of what we're saying. We're just amplifying voices.
The Hendersons' mission doesn't stop with coffee sales. Right now, they are operating a fundraiser called the Barista Exchange.
We're trying to raise $40,000 to bring 4 African baristas to America to actually see how the process goes on this end of the supply chain. Then we want to bring 4 African American baristas to Africa to see what does it look like to be able to connect with the roots and the origin and the soul of this thing and see where it comes from.
The Hendersons designed this shoe to help fund the project. Their desire to reclaim the Black history of coffee has captured the attention of coffee enthusiasts across the world. However, we still had one question. Why the X in coffee?
For us, it means reconnecting back to the places and people who have historically grown this plant and learning a connection to them beyond just, espressos and cappuccinos.
Even if Coffee Black dies tomorrow, we're still going to do what we're doing.
Reporting in Highland Heights, Quametra Wilborn, WREG News Channel 3.